more on this extension of the mandate.
And the extension note, I mean, the information note and the extension, this is really for for resources to enable the operation of the work on the traditional leader killings. Is that right?
That is correct, Commissioners. The National Commissioner decided to extend the mandate based on the discussions that he might have had with the affected environments at his level. Hence, then it was then extended as per paragraph 5 of the SDK 9.
And then at paragraph 100 and page 110 rather of that annexure, the approval was for 20 million. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioners.
And can you explain, you had requested more than that, is that correct? And can you just explain the approval of the budget?
Thank you, Commissioners. The request was for the budget for the financial year 24-25. That was submitted towards the end of March, and then the approval was granted for 20 million instead of the amount applied for as reasons provided by the accounting officer that the further allocation will be finalized then during the allocation of budget for the department for that particular financial year. So this was the approval of the first few expenditure activities before the approval of the budget for SAPS.
And that budget too was to come from the national budget, is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioners.
So in your statement, you then go to the status of the dockets at 31st December 2024. Can we go to paragraph 46, please?
Perhaps before that, Ms. Asim, if we just go back to that information note and for completeness, because this may well become relevant somewhere down the line. General, at page 109 of that note, you have a comment. So you've got that approvals list. You're the first in that list of signatories as the recommender. And then General Sibia signs approving on the 26th of March 2024. And then you've got General Dimpane. There are notes there, and I think importantly perhaps, let's look at the second note, Ms. Hassim. That's post-elections. I can't quite read all of it. And then the general, it seems the National Commissioner comments in the next. He says something, and I really, again, can't quite read it. If you can, perhaps you should read that into the record.
The National Commissioner, on his approval, responding to the comments by the Chief Financial Officer, states that the task team will continue beyond elections so long there is work to be done. Team cannot be localized to KZN.
Okay. Now, following this, and this is in 2024, March, April, when this new approval is given, or extension is given, has there been discussion as leader of the project? Has there been discussion internally about relocating or deactivating, to use General Dimpane's language, deactivating the team, the task team?
No, Commissioners, there has been no discussions about the deactivation of the task team, political killings task team.
Until the 31st of
Until the
December.
31st of December.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Assam.
Thank you, Commissioner Beloy. If I can ask a follow-up question on this. The information note was prepared by you, and it was approved by the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection, at the time was Lieutenant General Sabia. And then, obviously, it needs to be approved by Financial Management and Administration. And that is where we see the comment that post-elections, the team is to be deactivated. So when you were engaging, I mean, did you engage with Divisional Commissioner for Financial Management and Administration on those comments, on those notes?
Thank you. My responsibility, as it's rightfully reflected there, starts with the submission. As the project leader or manager, starts with the submission to the next level, which is then the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection for his or her recommendation. And then it was recommended, and then the next step then is the financial approval, which is then the Chief Financial Officer or the Divisional Commissioner Finance and Financial Management and Administration, which then indicated the availability of funds in words instead of indicating with those comments. And then the same submission then will be then to the National Commissioner, the Accounting Officer, to give the approval. So firstly, the engagement needs to be between the two. The CFO, who is then allocating the financial resources, with the Accounting Officer, who is approving both the operation as well as the financial allocation as recommended by the CFO. So the logic for now, Commissioners, will be the initial discussion was between the Chief Financial Officer and the Accounting Officer in terms of streamlining the recommendation into the approval.
Thank you. That clarifies it. You didn't have a discussion with the CFO. Thank you. So your next, the next issue you turn to is then moving away from April 2024, when this was approved for budget, to December 2024, where you explain now the number of dockets that were in your possession as at that time. Can you take the Commission through your paragraph 46, please, and the table?
Thank you, Chair. The status as well as the workload was with the political killings task team as at the 31st of December 2024, starting by explaining the number of tables that are reflected there. They talk to the extensions that I've explained under the establishment of the political killing task team, as well as the extensions that were there. The first column talks to the political related cases that is based on the establishment since 2018 July. The cases that were allocated to the team as at 31st of December 2024 were 333. the case dockets that were talking to the mandate of the political killings investigation. And then the second part talks to the parallel cases that were also allocated to the team in addition to 333. Those are 90 cases that, as at the 31st of December, were investigated and accounted for by the political killings task team based on their request. The reason that will always be there for a parallel docket to be requested from a particular station will be either during the analysis by the team, it will come out that there is evidence that is linking the political related case with a particular case at any other station or country. It's either through ballistical analysis, it's either through fingerprints, it's either through the modus operandi and any other similarities that the team will recommend that that docket be assigned to the team for parallel investigation together with the main docket. So as at the 31st of December 2024, those dockets were 90. Then the other group of dockets, it's ad hoc dockets that were 120 as at the end of December. Those dockets are related to the task team will now and again conduct intelligence-driven operations that are mainly targeted to getting or finding the murder weapons, the firearms that are used in these political killings incidents. So during those operations, and then the team will confiscate a lot of unlicensed firearms for ballistic testing or ballistical analysis, and then some of those firearms then will be positively linked with the political related cases, and those that are not positively linked, and then the team will register. It's self-generated dockets. This will register then a docket of possession of unlicensed firearm. Those dockets were 120 at the time of this report. The next batch talks to the cases related to the traditional leadership killings in the province. As at December 31st, there were 51 of those dockets that were allocated to the team. And then the University of Fort Hare cases, there were 18. And then we are giving then the sum total in terms of the dockets allocated to the team as at the end of December to be at 612.
Thank you. So
Is
if the...
this, sorry, Advocate General, is this the report that was presented to the Minister in February 2025?
It is part of the report.
It is. When was this report prepared? The case management docket status report. I'm assuming it is after 31 December 2024.
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner. It's soon after 31st of December, but the report was at the end of December.
So if there were 612 dockets as of 31 December, how do we come to the number 121 that we have been talking about in the Commission, that the 121 dockets that were to be handed over to head office?
Thank you, Chairperson. Commissioners, fast forward to the famous number of 121 to explain it at this stage. This is the report as at the end of December. So the number 121 became famous around after March. Then that will mean that some of the, or 4 of the cases that were still under investigation as at the end of December were now no longer under investigation, but they were in court. Then the difference between 125 dockets under investigation in this report as at the end of December and the 121.
So the 121 dockets are dockets that were under investigation.
That is correct, Commissioners.
All right, can we go to your paragraph 47?
Thank you, Commissioners. Then going to paragraph 27, unpacking the stats as provided on paragraph 46. We are reflecting that the figures as highlighted under paragraph 46, they demonstrate both the scale and diversity of politically related cases in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and also talking to the systematic approach that is used by the team that I explained earlier on in order to ensure accountability on the investigation and prosecution of these cases that are involving then the political stakeholders, the municipality employees or officials, as well as officials at the University of Fort Hare and the traditional leadership as per the current mandate and the extensions of the political killings task team. Looking at the numbers that I'm talking to under paragraph 47, the 612 dockets that has been allocated to the team gradually, so as and when the case is reported or as and when the mandate is extended, as at the end of December, 600 and out of that 612, only 125 of those dockets were still under investigation, with most of them being the contribution of the late extension of traditional leadership dockets that was still having less than a year within the task team. Those are 44 dockets. But then looking at the finalized dockets, more especially those that are finalized guilty, that will talk to the successful implementation of this adopted approach. And then moving on to the paragraph 48, where one is explaining other most important facts that needs consideration instead of only numbers as reflected there to determine the successfulness, to determine the adding of value or no value of the team. There are other aspects, the aspects that needs to be looked at. The team is not addressing murder cases the traditional way as it is done within SAPS currently. Where someone is killed, you go out and look for the killer, and then you try to link that killer with the evidence that you have in your possession, and then you would consider as a successful investigation. As the team is approaching these investigations using the analysis-led as well as the model of investigation. As the team approaches the docket, the first phase of investigation is not directed towards finding the killer. The first phase is directed towards determining and confirming the motive of this killing as to who might have wanted this particular deceased dead, instead of asking as to who's responsible for the killing, who might have wanted. It is that thorough motive investigation.
Is that the so-called hit orderers that
Yes.
the National Commission
Yes,
referred to?
yes, I'm going there, commissioners. Once the motive is identified, then automatically it will come up with identification of persons of interest. That will be plotted on the organized crime blocks because the contract killing has got permanent stakeholders that needs to be there. So it will be the replacement of a spotter by a name identified as a person of interest. Thereafter, the next phase of investigation will talk now to the collection of evidence that will be directed towards the linkage of identified persons of interest with that particular incident. Hence, then that will talk to the team having a successful rate in terms of charging also the hit orderers, those that will, under normal circumstances,